Welcome to the BrightWord Books Podcast. BrightWord is a leading platform for diverse storytelling, where voices from all backgrounds can share their unique narratives and connect with readers from around the world. Follow our regular podcast updates, where we strive to foster a literary community that celebrates creativity, inclusivity, and the transformative power of literature. Welcome to the BrightWord Books Podcast. I'm John Lobb, and today it's my distinct pleasure to be joined by Serah Muiruri, author of Breaking Chains, a guide to overcoming interpersonal violence and reclaiming your strength. The guide provides an understanding to dealing with and overcoming interpersonal violence. It's written for those who are ready to break free from such situations, giving them the tools they need to recognize abusive behaviors, protect themselves, and seek help. And as Serah says, it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving. Serah, welcome back to the podcast. We're delighted to have you with us again.
Thank you so much, John. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you for the invite again.
Absolutely. Perhaps to start us off, Serah, could you talk about any additional feedback or responses you've had from readers since your last appearance here?
Absolutely happy to do that. Yes, since my last encounter, I did have I'd had a couple actually interviews following the first one. I have been getting a lot of calls in terms of the book, Breaking Chains. And I keep saying, I'm very honored to discuss the book. And I have other books, but this one seems to have gotten a lot of attention from the audience out there. Every day I'm getting a call, if not two. And I have things scheduled just since that last podcast. So I'm really excited.
Excellent. And it seems like your audience, the people you're trying to reach with this book, must certainly appreciate somebody reaching out to folks in that situation and in what must be a desperate situation, an unhappy situation, someone reaching out with a guide on how to deal with it, how to get out of it. I imagine that folks are doubly appreciative that you were able to write about this topic and offer a helping hand.
Yes, very, very much so. It's a very delicate and very sensitive matter. So it takes courage. It takes then the urge to break that silence. And I can appreciate that all my audience are seeing the same thing I saw, what prompted me to write the book.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
Since you've heard from folks, is there anything that you wish you had included in the book that was not included, or perhaps wished you had emphasized more than you did?
Yes, in hindsight, I think we covered quite a bit on the first podcast. However, I cannot emphasize enough about the resilience of the folks that I have encountered, the people that I have dealt with, the people that are giving me feedback on this, the people that actually are reading the guide and it's really helping them. And of course, the people that I had included, that I had interviewed throughout the process when I was writing the book. So I cannot emphasize enough about the strength. Sometimes it's grass is half full or is half full or half empty. And most of the people that I'm encountering, I just need to reinforce the fact that yes, we have been in those dire situations. However, our strength is amplified and their resilience shows and the courage shows in the manner that they have actually prompted or even planting a seed to be able to propel themselves forward. So I think that's a piece that we didn't maybe could have not emphasized enough. Maybe I neglected to emphasize and beef it up a little bit because people need to hear that no matter what they're going through, if there's a glimpse of hope, we need to amplify and build upon that hope and strength, no matter how small it is. Progress is progress, no matter what.
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
speaking of progress, I know breaking free and recovering is not always a linear process. That there are steps forward and sometimes steps back. What do you say to folks who feel like they've had a setback and feel discouraged?
Yes, and it's normal. It's a natural progression because remember, even going through that challenging situation, you may have had a very good time with the perpetrator, the abuser. And those are losses, and a loss is a loss no matter what. And I think statistically speaking, let's say you are in an intimate relationship with someone and that ends up in disarray, you go your ways. The pain that you go through is almost equating, it does equate to a death of a loved one. So that in itself is a loss. So we have to approach it from that lens of a loss. And what you go through, you're grieving. And grief is not linear. You can go back and forth, back and forth. It's a journey until complete healing occurs. So it's okay. If you're feeling that you're taking steps back, it's perfectly okay. And we cannot look at yesterday. Yesterday is gone. We cannot mourn yesterday. We just have to stay in the moment, present in the moment. So if we faltered yesterday, so what? We can always pick the pieces where we left off and continue. The main thing is you're not in competition with anybody. It's not a race. You're not racing against someone else. It's just you. And knowing that you do have overarching goals that you want to achieve, that's what we need to focus on. Gone is gone. Today is another day. We have a clean slate. We can always start over. And again, I can't emphasize enough. It's a grieving process. There is a process there. And sometimes we may fall so many times before we rise again, and that's okay. The goal is to get ourselves better every single day.
Excellent. Excellent. Talk about reclaiming strength. I know you mentioned the concept of reclaiming one's strength. What exactly does that mean, and how does it play into the recovery process?
Reclaiming your strength is, I would say, it's regaining regaining yourself. Because remember, when you're going through these toxic relationships, there is an element of yourself that actually gets lost in the process. So the reclaiming is the reclaiming that strength, the reclaiming who you were before you even met this person. And I know it's a part of it is it gets complex. There are mental health challenges involved with the toxicity that occurs. There is also the element of trauma, because we are also, trauma goes way back in our childhood. So it's every day that we are dealing with something, but there is not lost hope. I don't believe there's a problem that cannot be solved. And once you know what you're dealing with, I think the rest is a win, no matter what. The danger is not knowing what you're involved in. So you've already left that relationship. You've already recognized that that was a relationship that is no longer serving you. That in itself is a strength. And I believe also you have to build that strength from within. Yes, you can look from the outside for support and resources, which there are resources out there. However, you have to make that conscious decision every single day that today is, I'm going to win no matter what. Yes, it has to start from you, building yourself and getting to a point whereby, okay, no matter what the world tells me, I am me. I am authentically me. I am here for a reason, and I'm here to nurture the passions that I do have. Because again, when you're in toxic relationships, sometimes you lose even those passions. You lose even those dreams. You lose even that vision that you had for yourself. So actually, just getting out of that toxicity is, you have to build that resilience. Hence why I have also written other books, empowering resilience and nurturing yourself to a point that you have to empower yourself to be able to propel forward. Yes, it can be done.
Interesting. And when you talk about reinventing yourself, there's also the concept of trust.
Mhm.
For someone who's been hurt by an abuser, the ability to trust again, and it's a part of the process, right? That it won't come easy, but it sounds like it's a key part of the process is getting to a point where you can trust other people again.
Baby steps. I tell people it's baby steps. Trust is it's hard and hard to come by. I have to trust you to be able to know that I can confidently work with you, even for the professionals out there. So trusting yourself first, because sometimes when you lose yourself, sometimes it's even difficult, especially where someone has been telling you that, oh, you're nothing. This is whatever the toxicity language they have used against you. Sometimes that we can it's very easy to incorporate that and internalize that, and then emerge as that broken person. But then again, there is always hope. There is always hope to be able to get yourself together again. It's like broken pieces. You can try to piece them back together. They may not be 100% a masterpiece that was before that relationship, but it can get better. within those broken pieces, you can master and craft a very good masterpiece that can actually impact generations to come. So yes, that can be a part of the process, and it's okay. Trust doesn't come easy. I have to get to know you. I have to get to be able to trust you, to be able to work with you, and even work with myself. So that's why I said sometimes that trust has to come from you. And then also having looking the outside world from with a positive lens. I always say that if you're looking for something, you always find it. So if you're looking for positivity, you will always find it. If you're looking for negativity, you always find it. The universe has a way of handing to us whatever we ask for. So if you're looking for, we attract that what we want. So we do have control. Baby steps, you can trust again. As much as there is toxicity in the world, there is still a lot of good people out there. There is still a lot of good that we can encounter in the world. And then you decide, and just don't give yourself too many expectations that you may not be able to fulfill. So let's say you left a toxic intimate relationship and you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna move on, find someone else and get married or have been that a domestic partnership. You gotta give yourself time. There is a reason why there is that phrase, that rebound. You cannot try to fill that vacuum with something else too soon, because that might be a dangerous zone. And I also tell people, just fill that void with people that matter to you, and also with things and passions that are going to be helping you to build you to the person that you to the best person or the version of you.
Excellent.
Mhm.
And for those who are struggling, what is the role of therapy or counseling? Assume you support therapy if available, and speaking to a counselor.
Yes, professional help is very, very important, because that's a neutral person. And remember, these are people that have gone to school, they are professionals, they are people that have experience in some of these things. So when you're looking for a counselor, though, I do have to say that there is a cultural sensitivity that not maybe all professionals have it. So seek that one that is going to nurture you in a manner that makes best sense for you. For instance, if you're coming from a different culture where things are looked at very differently, you may not be getting the results out of that therapeutic relationship if you're indeed not ready for it. So look for those therapists that have, or counselors that are open to even including your modalities that are necessary for you to be able to bring it home. Because sometimes, for instance, from an African background, therapy may not be such a thing that is also well valued in a sense. Yes, we are picking that up now, but it's not a foreign concept. So what we do is incorporate, as therapists, as counselors, listen to the patient first and foremost. You have to be heard. As a person coming to seek services, it's always good to make sure that you're driving that map. And I also tell people that the best counselor is not the one that's dictating to you. It's someone that's a good listener, someone that is willing, especially when you're dealing with traumatic events and traumatic experiences. It's always very, very important for someone to get to break through those barriers. Because if you're not, it's just going to be talk therapy. It's always going to be just a checkbox. And that's not what you're looking for. You're looking for someone that's really willing to walk that journey with you. So the commitment level has to be very available, readily available. And sometimes you listen to yourself. You're the best person to know that if in your belly it's telling you this is not for you, perhaps it's not. And sometimes you strike a chord with somebody, sometimes not, because we all have different personalities. So make sure that you're seeking support from something that's going to be helpful to you. But understand the process. Don't let anyone dictate to you what your goals are. You want someone that's going to work with you and willing to bring themselves to your level, to understand you, to be able to build trust. Sometimes it doesn't even have to be pen and paper. Let's just have casual conversation. If you bring it to a level whereby there is that caveat that I'm taking control of the therapist and the client is below me, beneath me, you're not getting anywhere. You have to be on the same level to be able to start the process.
Excellent. Excellent. And speaking of resources, financial resources is a big topic. Money. There are, for example, a battered wife feels like she's stuck with a battering husband because she can't afford to leave. She would have nowhere to live or she'd have nowhere to get groceries. What do you say to someone who feels like financially they can't afford to leave their abuser?
Well, that's part of the abusive traits. If they know they have control over you, and be it financially, then they are getting what they're getting because you are allowing them to do that. So, as a victim of that relationship, toxic relationship, what I would say is forget the material stuff. If you have decided, let's say, you are going to get out of that toxicity, it's okay because you have to bring yourself to a level whereby you are starting over. But then again, don't equate success with just material wealth. If you are building yourself, if you're actually making that step forward, that's a win no matter what. And sometimes we forget that, okay, yes, you're going to lose a lot in terms of the material wealth and the comfort life, but it's better to even live on one bedroom or a studio apartment with peace versus living in a very big mansion where there's no peace no matter what. So I think the separation of and defining what success is it is for you. The resources out there, you're never gonna know what is out there unless you go seeking for it. It's always the action has to be met with a level of preparedness. So get to educate yourself, get to know what is around you, what is in your communities, listen to your radio stations, local radio stations, listen to, even visit shelters. Sometimes there is a stigma of what shelters look like, and sometimes you have never even gone there. It's just what you hear from other people. Get yourself someone that's going to help you, maybe even a social worker that can walk you through that journey and seek out. And your resources too. This is also actually the other question that we addressed before this one. I believe also the person that you're working with you, if you're going for counseling, they will also be able to help you and get you to the connect you to the resources that they are available in your local community. So they are out there, but you will never know unless you make that step. I would rather also, yes, I would rather also be very, very, very comfortable in an apartment versus being, miserable in a mansion. And
Good
then also
analogy.
goals. Yeah, and then also goals as well. So if let's say you're a stay-home mom that didn't work and your husband is the controller, also make sure that you are honing on your skills because we also have things to offer. Start over, even if it means working at a McDonald's. It's okay. It's your money coming in. There's no checkbox that says this came from a corporate America. A dollar is a dollar. And then also learn how to shop in different stores until you can get yourself back up if that's a goal. It all boils down to goals and your wants and how you want to drive your life.
And it seems some may feel like they can't afford to leave the abuser, but the reality is you can't afford to stay with what's happening to
Exactly.
you. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And what by staying, you are also, let's say, even if you have kids, you're also monitoring that toxicity, and that is going to impact your generations, even way after you're gone. So if you're thinking about even not for yourself, for your kids, because you can make a difference just by leaving the toxicity. And remember, relationships are complicated. I'm not saying that, okay, it's time for you to get divorced. That's not what I'm saying. Self-preservation. I'm talking about self-preservation, the willingness to do better by you, better by your kids, and then taking that one step at a time.
Gotcha. What role does faith play for someone who is involved with their church or has a personal relationship with God or Jesus? Is I'm assuming that would be a big help in working through the process.
Absolutely. That's where I said how the treatment has to be very personal and person centered. There are so many people that get angry at, let's say, God and say, why, if you loved me so much, why did you have to put me in this position? So that's the wrestling. That's a grief process also. It's a mesh that really need to be molded in a way that is going to be productive. But should say that yes, as much as spirituality, religion is important, Bible is important, you have got to remember that you have to put yourself at the focal point. Sometimes even a church can reinforce the abusive traits. Sometimes we have even seen pastors' wives, ministers' wives, or ministers, because again, abuse doesn't mean that it's just one gender, one gendered. It could be even a bishop is getting in a toxic relationship. And when that is, it gets complicated because there is that self-image that they have to look up to and say, I cannot do this because what are people going to say? What is my church going to say? My church members going to say about me? So there are those barriers. I understand 100%. However, the same barriers can be met with resistance as well. And even if it means that you are going to leave that church because it's no longer serving you, it's perfectly okay because there are other churches out there. Church is not just that one piece of community that you work with. If that community is not serving you in a manner that is productive, in a manner that's helpful, then why you're going to just sink in? And again, you're the one that's walking this journey, and you want to make sure that the community you have to align yourself with the right people, the right community, and also making sure that your spirituality is, or your religious beliefs and faith is not holding you back to the toxicity. Many a time that's not the case. We depend on that faith, we depend on that Bible, we depend on that deity that's helping us to go through whatever we are going through. And yes, there's that power in the universe. However, don't let that power tell you that, okay, you need to stay until you're dead because you imagine the other side of heaven as a stronger person. You have to go to evaluate if that's what you really want. And if that's the truth, your truth, then we have a problem. You need to reevaluate what is that community helping you with.
And abuse is not always obvious, is it? You gave the analogy of somebody living in a mansion. Others may feel like, wow, they have it made. They're wealthy. They appear to have a loving husband or a loving wife, and they drive a nice car. So they couldn't possibly be suffering abuse, but it's not the case, is it? Abuse can almost be hidden in plain sight.
Yes, and a lot of people that in those toxicity environments, you may never know. And sometimes they just walk out with a smile every single day. People are walking around broken. That's the reality of issues. That's the reality of what's going on. But remember, abuse is not just physical. There are so many emotional scars, psychological scars that people never see. And then it also can manifest in so many different ways. The way you work with people, the way you talk to people. And when people are just looking at that piece of behavior, sometimes if you don't know the background, it's best to just remain non-judgmental, because sometimes even in work environments, we may see those people that are struggling, not in a way that anger is channeled in differently, because obviously they are angry at what they're going through. But then that anger is channeled differently because remember, we are humans. We also tend to find whatever we need to find to be able to gain control. So if you're not able to gain this attention or this control from this abusive relationship, you're going to seek it elsewhere. And sometimes where we are seeking it is misappropriated because our behavior may not align perfectly with that particular environment. So what I'm saying is, yes, abuse is very complicated. We talked about financials. So that's a part of things that could be happening. Our last episode, we talked about extensively about even the environment. You'd have no privacy, infringement of your own personal space. That's also another level of toxicity and manifests in a way that also directed to breaking you even worse. So yeah, that's why I say to people, just let's maintain a non-judgmental attitude, because you never know. Even in a grocery store, you may find somebody that your attendant that is really a negative or not really so nice. Extend some grace. It's perhaps not about you. It's about what they're going through themselves. So yeah,
Absolutely. And as they say, you never know what someone else is going through in their life. So
exactly,
be kind.
exactly. Be
Sarah, what
kind,
is what
exactly.
is next for you? What are you working on next?
Thank you for asking, John. I am actually in a doctorate program right now. I'm in the middle of research, and my research topic is trauma based for immigrants in the diaspora community. So that is the next phase. I have about 2-3 months to be done with my doctorate. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to the work that I have to do in the next 2-3 months, but I am looking at the overarching goal of that graduation and more importantly, the work beyond, because I have gained tremendous knowledge throughout my academic process. So I'm hoping to put that to the community. And breaking chains was just a part of the process as well. So there will be many more coming because I'm hoping to turn my masterpiece of what the project is going to be into a book, so that way I may direct people to that book as a resource as well, in combination of the other books. I have also actually published another book after Breaking Chains. The other book that I published not too long ago is Mental Health Awakening: Empower Your Mind and Soul. So mental health is dear to me, so this came out after Breaking Chains. So I'm excited. I'll continue writing journal articles or books. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I do have to mention though that Breaking Chains, since the last, I neglected to mention that since the last podcast I had, I got a lot of the book got a lot of attention. It's going to be actually represented in the world's biggest book fair in Germany, Frankfurt, Germany. And then also that will be this coming October. Next year, I believe in January, the publishing company wants to represent the book in Manila, Philippines for another book fair. And I am also
Excellent.
been approached for traditional publishing. So it's overwhelming. There's a lot going on, but it's all positive, and I'm taking one day at a time, one stride at a time, because we gotta get this message out there. And the more people get into it, the more I'll be fulfilled, because frankly, I wrote the book as a resource. So all these other things are very humbling, and I appreciate it all. But I also know that someone out there is going to be gaining from the book.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. And I think the next time we have you back, you may be Dr. Serah. So that's exciting.
It is exciting. So yes, I'm
Good for
looking
you.
forward to the title. It's just so surreal, but I know it will happen. Yes.
Excellent.
The journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. So
It sure
it,
does.
it
It
can
sure
help.
does. Serah,
Yes.
thank you so much for being with us today. It's been a wonderful discussion about a very serious topic. And I'm sure even if you just help one person through your book, through your work, it'll be well worth it.
Thank you so much, John. Very, very nice meeting you, and look forward to many more opportunities also.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for being with us today. This has been the BrightWord Books Podcast, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next episode. You've been listening to the BrightWord Books Podcast, home of the literary community that celebrates creativity, inclusivity, and the transformative power of literature. Don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss future episodes. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.